The greatest happiness is to scatter your enemy and drive him before you, to see his cities reduced to ashes, to see those who loved him shrouded in tears, and to gather into your bosom his wives and daughters. From the years 1219 to 1221, warriors from the eastern lands of Mongolia ride forth across the great expanses of the Khwarazmian Empire. The terrific sound of thousands of hooves strike the ground in a thunderous roar, from which the riders of these great stallions cut down all those who stand within their path. By now, the afflictions of this great evil from the east have left few people of the Central Asian land unharmed. Livestock slaughtered, cities laid to waste, and millions murdered by the hands of a wrathful and unrelenting force of destruction. But it wasn't always this way. The ruler of the Khwarazmian Empire, Shah Muhammad II, foolishly offended the Mongol conqueror. When the governor of the Khwarazmian city of Otrar, Inalchuk, had a travelling posse of Mongol emissaries arrested, the Shah refused the demands of Genghis Khan for their immediate release and to hand over the rogue governor. His arrogance and lust for riches and spoils led him to forcefully take treasures from the travelling posse and accuse them of spying. In an attempt to avoid conflict, Genghis Khan gave the Shah one chance to release the posse. However, this was met by rebuke, and the Khwarazmian leader had the Mongols and Muslim travellers executed. The fate of millions was now sealed. The Mongol warlord intended to bring about an event that would see the fastest and most thorough destruction of an empire in history. This once mighty and powerful empire now sits on the verge of annihilation. Previously flourishing cities such as Bukhara and Samarkand lay in complete ruin, and their people's bones sit discarded in stacks as high as mountains. Not too long from now will follow much more untold misery as the final death blow to the Khwarazmian lands from this ferocious warlord draws ever closer. Before this definitive victory, Genghis Khan, keen to unleash yet more fear, dispatches two sons to besiege the city of Gurganj, an important centre of wealth and prosperity straddling the Amu Darya river. And so, growing ever nearer to this fabled metropolis, ride an army numbering as many as 100,000 Mongols under the command of Jochi and Chagatai Khan, two sons of the Mongol leader. The people of Gurganj hastily build up their defences as the armies that annihilated Bukhara, Otrar and Samarkand draw ever closer. The seismic shock of thousands of soldiers galloping across the plains shake the earth, and the roaring sound of thousands of war cries and stamping of hooves flood the air around Gurganj as the army surrounds all sides of the city. In early April of the year 1221, the Siege of Gurganj begins. As the attack commences, Mongol archers fire wave after wave of arrows at the city defenders, and too are Gurganj walls pounded by siege engines equipped with boulders and battering rams. The marshy terrain surrounding the city provides hope for the terrified inhabitants, as the Mongols, at least initially, failed to advance. The invading force suffer massive losses in the opening days, as the ground renders their advance near impossible and gives the Gurganj people time to strengthen their fortifications. Inflaming tensions between the two commanding sons too decimate hopes of a swift victory, and in time the lack of progress infuriates Genghis Khan to place another son, Ogedei Khan, as the sole leader of the siege. Months of brutality and relentless onslaught ensue, and whilst the defenders of Gurganj maintain a noble effort, they eventually succumb to their oppressors' might. The walls are breached and thousands of Mongol warriors pour into the city. What follows is one of the worst atrocities in human history committed against civilians. Ogedei Khan, enraged by the large number of casualties, orders that all surviving civilians are to be slaughtered, bar some artisans and engineers, and Mongol warriors methodically butcher the city's people, house by house, street by street. Men, women, young children and even the babies are put to the sword, all their possessions are looted and their homes are burned to the ground. As stated by Muslim historians, once the city fell, each one of the Mongol soldiers were tasked with the murder of between 10 and 24 people, bringing the death toll in the region of 500,000 to 1.2 million. Not even the cats and dogs were spared. Every living thing and building associated with Khwarazmia were to be erased from the land. As was done before, the skulls and bones of the deceased were stacked high above the surrounding landscape as a deathly beacon and warning to those who stood in the Mongols' path. Once the massacre concluded, the Great Gurganj Dam holding back the fast-flowing waters of the nearby river was destroyed, drowning what remained of the charred city. The combined slaughter of millions in Bukhara, Otra, Samarkand and now Gurganj stand as a chilling reminder to what fate awaits the remainder of the Khwarazmian people.